Investigating for you. This is News 4 Tucson, live at 4.
Good afternoon and welcome to News 4 Tucson at 4. I'm Allison Alexander. Breaking news out of Midtown: a child has died after he was pulled from a swimming pool and rushed to the hospital. It happened around 2:30 this afternoon at an apartment complex on the 300 block of East Mojave Road near Prince and Stone. News 4 Tucson Sam Salzwedel is there live with the story. Sam?
Well, Tucson police investigators are here right now. They are treating this like a crime scene, just in case this does turn out to be a case of criminal negligence or abuse. So right now they have the pool area blocked off. They're gathering evidence and preserving the scene here. Now, this all started around 2:30 this afternoon. A man was actually walking his dog when he saw the boy in his pool. He pulled him out, had a neighbor called 911, and he was giving the boy CPR until Tucson firefighters got here. The firefighters rushed the boy to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Now, at first, police had problems identifying the child. They could not find the parents. And a police sergeant on scene here said that the boy did not live in this apartment complex. But at this time, police are saying that the boy was 4 years old. Now, this is just a case of apparently a breakdown of adult supervision, according to Tucson Fire, because the pool fence was in working order. Somebody gave CPR, but apparently nobody was around to watch this kid and make sure that he did not get over near a swimming pool. Reporting live on the north side, I'm Sam Salzwedel, News 4 Tucson.
All right, thanks for the update, Sam. One person is dead southwest of Tucson from a shooting involving at least one Border Patrol agent. The fatal shooting happened near South Valhalla and West Zorro roads around 10:30 this morning. News 4 Tucson's Lauren Reimer is there with the latest. She joins us now live. Lauren, what can you tell us?
Allison, well, agents are still looking for additional subjects. This is a very rural area. There's a lot of open desert, and they've been at it since shortly after 10:20 this morning. That's when agents got there first. That's when they were first involved in a shooting. One subject was shot and killed by Border Patrol, but more suspects managed to escape out into this very rural area. Now, there are homes nearby, so they're trying to keep the area secure. Agents have been using ATVs and a helicopter to look for them. So far, no arrests have been made, but they did find guns.
Agents recovered multiple weapons, and no injuries to the agents involved have been reported. The Federal Bureau of Investigations has assumed the lead role in the investigation of this incident, and CBP's Office of Internal Affairs has responded to support the FBI in this investigation.
And Valhalla was closed for some time to traffic. It is now reopened to residents. In Pima County, Lauren Reimer, News 4 Tucson.
All right, thank you, Lauren. The governors of New York and New Jersey have issued quarantine orders for any travelers who have had contact with Ebola patients in West Africa. A doctor who had been treating Ebola victims in Africa is now fighting for his own life inside a New York City hospital after testing positive for the deadly virus last night. News 4 Tucson's Jay Gray has more on what officials are doing to save the doctor and prevent a possible outbreak.
Rushed by ambulance from his Harlem apartment to Bellevue Hospital in Midtown Manhattan Thursday, 33-year-old Dr. Craig Spencer is now the latest Ebola victim in the U.S. and the first to have the deadly disease in New York City.
The patient continues to be stable at Bellevue Hospital, where he remains hospitalized on the isolation unit.
Dr. Spencer returned to New York last Friday from Guinea in West Africa, where he had been treating Ebola victims for the international aid group Doctors Without Borders. The night before he got sick, Spencer took a subway and went to a Brooklyn bowling alley and a few restaurants. His fiancée has been placed in quarantine while 2 other friends are being monitored for any signs of Ebola-like symptoms. His movements around the city have triggered fears the disease may spread, but city leaders stress this is not an outbreak.
There is no cause for alarm. New Yorkers need to understand the situation is being handled and handled well.
Despite the mayor's assurance, reaction on the streets of the city is mixed.
Scary. It's scary, scary thought about catching Ebola.
I mean, it's not ideal, but it doesn't, I think it's going to be small, and I think that they can probably figure out how to treat it here.
And while Dr. Spencer is being treated, New Yorkers are taking their own precautions.
I'm not touching anyone.
Really?
Getting close to anyone. I'm just watching out.
Watching and hoping the city's first case of Ebola is its last. I'm Jay Gray, News 4 Tucson.
Ebola has reached Dallas and New York, but it hasn't reached Tucson. Still, as News 4 Tucson's Dominica Fuller reports, UAMC is preparing for the threat in simultation labs. All new at 4.
If the virus ever comes to Tucson, 31 nurses and doctors at UAMC have volunteered to treat Ebola. I went to their training today to see how they're prepped for this threat. 2 gloves, 2 bodysuits, 2 sets of boots, and 3 layers around their face. That's the level of protection between a health professional and Ebola.
Okay, so when that happens...
Today, nurses and doctors at UAMC were trained on how to properly decontaminate their gear. Volunteers see this as practice for future outbreaks, not just Ebola.
It better prepares us to put on protective equipment in the long run as nurses, and it's a nice refresher.
UAMC will continue to practice with its volunteers. I'm Dominica Fuller, News 4 Tucson.
Be sure to stay with News 4 Tucson for complete coverage of Ebola in America. We'll bring you the latest developments right here on Channel 4, online at KVOA.com, and on your mobile device through our smartphone app. Well, the weekend's almost here, and there's no better time of year to enjoy being outside with your family and friends and neighbors. It is the season for great weather, Halloween decorations, and autumn harvest festivals. The annual Marana Pumpkin Patch and Farm Festival is back again this year at Post Farms in Marana, and that's where we find News 4 Chief Meteorologist Matt Brode with a look at that weekend forecast. Hey, Matt.
Woo. Hey, Allison, a little bit toasty. Hard to believe that we're just 1 week now away from Halloween. And, of course, as you mentioned, we are at the Marana Pumpkin Patch. Just heard a lot of yelps a few minutes ago. They just had, the top of the hour, little piggy races, and they're pretty cute. You can see them. I'm up here elevated. Of course, you can see I'm strapped to a little harness here. I'm going to attempt a zip line. And joining me now live is Casey, who assures me I'm going to be safe. How you doing, Casey?
I'm doing great, thank you.
You got a pretty good gig up here. You get to a little bird's eye view. You can see what's going on, right?
Yeah, everything's good. I love it up here. It's so much fun.
And it's a little bit cooler as well.
Yes, it is. No breeze. Keep the breeze going.
So, Casey, how can you assure that I'm going to be safe? Tell me what we got going on here exactly.
We got you all carabinered in. We got you hooked in here to the line. Now let's have you hold on to the line and just kind of sit back in the harness, and away you go.
Okay, he assures me I'm going to be okay. Sit back in the harness, and we're good to go. So, I have never zip-lined before in my life. So, you sure we're ready, Casey?
Yeah, we're all good. No worries.
Any final thoughts, which I should do?
Just have fun.
Have fun. Let's give this a go. And here we go. First time zip-lining. Woo! All right. Oh, it feels good in the wind. We're going pretty quickly, and hopefully just going to have some break. Oh! Almost took a tumble there, Allison. As people, thank you very much.
No problem, man.
That wasn't too bad.
No, it wasn't.
Have you tried this yourself?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So, just one of the many attractions. Maybe photographer Danny can see the little train in front of me as I get unharnessed out of here.
Were you scared at all?
Sure. I was a little bit scared, but you know, I feel pretty good. It's in the mid to upper 90s here in Marana, so with a little bit of a wind chill on the old zip line, just one of the great attractions that we have here, Allison. So stay tuned. We'll talk about the weekend forecast coming up and more attractions right up here in Marana. See you in a few minutes.
First time zip lining. It's fun. I'm glad you liked it, Matt.
It is fun. I might even do it again.
I'm surprised you did it the first time, to tell you the truth.
I'm not.
All right, we'll check back with you.
All right.
11 days until the midterm election, and time is running out if you want to vote by mail. The deadline to request a mail-in ballot is today at 5 o'clock. So that means you have less than an hour before the deadline. At this point, the sure way to get one is to call the Pima County Recorder's Office at 520-724-4330. 2 men and a woman posing as police officers tried to invade a West Side home last night, but the trio's robbery attempt was thwarted by those living inside. It all happened before 11 o'clock on Tucson's West Side near Greasewood and Speedway. Pima County sheriffs say the home invaders forced their way inside the house, representing themselves as law enforcement. They demanded money and drugs. 2 men inside the home fought off the invaders and were able to pin down one of them, 29-year-old Alberto Herrera. Deputies arrested him on charges of burglary, assault, and impersonating a peace officer. officer. The other two suspects, a man and a woman, were able to escape in a dark-colored SUV. Anyone with information should call 88 Crime. At least 3 sheriff's deputies were shot in the Sacramento area today, and one of them has died. Police arrested one person and are still looking for another suspect, a heavily armed man. A woman who was with the wanted man is in custody. Authorities say she had a handgun in her purse. Shots were exchanged during a carjacking. Police have narrowed the search to Auburn County, where the suspect was last seen around noon in a red truck. Coming up on News 4 Tucson at 4, terror on campus. The newly crowned homecoming prince opened fire on his peers today at a school outside Seattle. Coming to grips with its grief, Canada honors the soldier who died from a heinous shooting in Ottawa. But first, we want to go outside and check those conditions on your Friday afternoon as we head into the weekend. Live from our News 4 Tucson Skynet Tower Cam.